and all that stuff, I can smudge the ink. I can tell that this is a real document. With a copy, I mean, this could have been, I mean, you can see how easy it is to Photoshop people in the pictures. And I mean, the Bernie Sanders meme, I think I showed it to you, where he was Photoshopped in all these different scenarios. It's so easy to forge a document. It's so easy to forge a photograph. If it's easy to forge a photograph, it's easy to forge a document.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you say that. I mean, you know, and when people come to my office or our office, and I say to them, you know, when I say this to everybody, I said, when I finish this power of attorney, or when I finish this will, unless the other, now there's not a will that I mean a power of attorney, I don't do this on. I tell them, when I finish this power of attorney, it doesn't exist any longer. If somebody comes over here and say, hey, I lost my dad's power of attorney, can you give me another copy? I'll say, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't keep copies of it.
Yeah. Now, and the reality of it is, and here's the reason behind that, I don't know if they changed their mind. So that's all, you know, I understand the forgery, the photoshopping and all that, but my biggest issue is I don't know if they've changed their mind.
Right.
And if they've changed their mind, then you got a copy, I can't do nothing with that.
Right, right.
Whereas, you know, the original, you know, I know that that's what they're looking at. I know that's what they're looking at right then. That's the difference.
Right.
To me.
Right.
Whereas that copy, that copy, look, I come in and sign a power of attorney, you know, and I decide, hey, I want Misty to be my power of attorney. Well, Misty walks out here, and I let Misty be my power of attorney. Misty go to the store and buy some Cracker Jacks, and I like chocolate. I like chocolate, you know.
Chunky chocolate.
I like chunky chocolate chips. And Misty goes out and spends my money on some Cracker Jacks, and when she comes back, I want my power of attorney. So what I'm gonna do is, you know, you're not doing what you're not exercising my wishes.
Right.
So since you're not going to exercise my wishes, I'm going to revoke my power of attorney for you.
Right.
I'm going to tear it up.
Right.
Well, what you could do is, if you knew the lawyer who wrote it, you can come to the lawyer and say, hey, I lost my dad's power of attorney. Can I get another one?
No.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to say. But the only way I can protect, because my client is the person I wrote that power of attorney for. It's not the person who.
It's not the people who benefit from it, or the family, or it's the person who came in here and said, hey, I want a power of attorney.
Yeah, and so I need to prove that that person, in fact, want you to have that power. Again, and you know, it depends. I mean, a lot of times I won't recharge if the person that I did it for originally lost it and came back, and I normally won't. I won't charge them to come and do another one. Right. But if it's a person, you know, if you start changing beneficiaries or changing people, changing things,
red flag.
I start doing those types of things. I had a lady come into my office and ask me to prepare a will. Okay. And you know how I do the will. You know, I grill you.
Right.
Because I want to make sure that you're competent.
Right.
I grilled this lady. And she passed all the tests, and she left. I did a will for her. She left. I get a call a couple days after I finished the will. She had went somewhere else and got another will. And then it was at that point that I realized that she was having some issues. You know, now this is where Jerome and I usually disagree about. You know. If I know somebody has Alzheimer's or dementia or some memory disease, I normally won't prepare a will for them. I normally won't prepare a power of attorney for them. Jerome believes that when they have these periods of lucidity, or you know, or they are aware of their point right then, then I can prepare one for them at that particular time. What do you think about that?
I think the law is gray on that. I think it's a gray area.
Yeah.
Because to create a will, the only thing you need to be able to do is to be able to bind yourself in contract.
Right.
Because a will, again, is a death contract.
Right.
Or a contract upon death. So it's you. I think there's an argument for both. Just to be honest, I think that there's to have that moment of lucidity. That person could equally go out here and go buy a car.
Correct.
If they got the correct credit score, you know, 640 and above,
right.
they can go out here and buy them a car. or maybe lower if they going to one of these fly-by-night muds.
Joe on the corner.
Joe on the corner. It's all good, man. Whatever type car deal, whatever. Where you took the note. But you still can bind yourself in contract. Right. So the underlying principle of a will is principles of contract law. So I don't know. An argument could be made that because you're lucid, you have your Article 1, Clause 18, Section 2, Clause 18 right from the United States Constitution to bind yourself in contract. Right. But then again, how do you know you're lucid? How do you not know when you're not? What is the test? What is the arc for that? In the medical arena, they talk about levels of consciousness. Right. And then so it's the time, place, and it's time, place, and time, place, and who you are. Yeah. Okay. I mean, so you do something times 3. Okay. AOS times 3. Anyway, so you need to know that this person is alert and they're conscious. Right. So I mean, if they can follow the instructions, if they know who they are, if they know where they are, then we consider them to be lucid. Right. But look, I'm a little different, and I agree with you. And my actual question was really, how would you handle it? Because my question, for me, like I said, you said it's gray area, and Jerome says if he knows they're lucid, he's going to do it. I say if I have any notice or any knowledge that they have dementia, I'm not going to do it. I would want to, for me, I would need medical clearance from, a doctor. And not just any doctor, a doctor that specializes in neurology or neuropsychology. Woo, you putting it on them, ain't you? I need, because that burden that falls on us is so heavy. And if I get, because everybody, the thing that you're going to deal with that will is you're going to have Pookie and Ray Ray, and they're going to be fighting. Oh, no, this is my mama house. Right. This is my mama stuff. Right. My mama told me I could have this photo of me and Pookie and Ray Ray and our grandmama, and my mama told me I could have these Marcel curling irons. Just go in there and take them. You got to go, and you have to get that will probated. You're going to have these families, and they're going to, rip each other apart over some curling irons, over some, over property. And so you have all of this shenanigans going on. You want to make sure that there's no wiggle room. Yeah. Or very little wiggle room. And again, we're not doctors. We're not. We're doctors of law. We're doctors of law. We are that. We are doctors of law. Not medical doctors. But we're not medical doctors. Right. So to hold us to a standard, and the question really becomes, did you do your due diligence? Right. And again, just like a person can choose their lawyer, I can choose my client. Exactly. And if again, my rules are different than Jerome's rules, and maybe probably different than yours now that I'm hearing yours. Right. If I don't feel that, if I got some inclination that you got something going on, I don't really want to do it. Mm-hmm. And then there's a catch-all. If I find it, morally repugnant, right, to represent you, I don't have to do that. Right. And I think that taking it, for me, it would depend on the individual, but it really would just depend on the situation, the circumstances, the facts. Because I like, say for instance, if somebody comes in and I suspect they have Alzheimer's and they're in there with somebody, I take them off by themselves. Right. And I want to talk to you by yourself. Like you said, you grilled that lady. I'm going to grill you. We're going to have, what year is it? Who's the president? We're going to have all kind of conversation. Because for me, I've got not only your needs, which come first as the client, or the prospective client. There's rules about being a potential client or a prospective client. I've got other rules of professional responsibility and other oaths that I've taken to practice, you know, this noble profession, I've got to. I'm juggling all these things in my mind. Is it worth me taking you on as a client? What risk am I taking in taking you on as a client?
Yeah.
And I understand why you'd be like, I don't want to deal with that.
Well, I mean, and again, and so I sound like a hypocrite. Okay. Let me tell you, I'll sound like a hypocrite. And here's the reason why I say that. The reason, and you know, we do wills and power attorneys cheap. I mean, dirt cheap. I mean, that's probably
very cheap. Call us. We're very cheap for wills and power of attorney. Call us. Yeah. I'm telling you, call around town, you're gonna be like,
yeah.
What?
And the reason, and here's why I say that's hypocritical, because the reason why my price is the way it is because I believe that we don't have enough people doing power attorneys. I believe that we don't have enough people doing wills.
Accessibility.
And so it's not about me making money. It's about me having, again, accessibility, access to justice, just giving people an opportunity to do those things that other people wouldn't have to do.
Absolutely.
But at the same token, I'm almost acting like I'm saying that, but I'm acting like the gatekeeper. You know, I'm saying, well, you know, I want to help you. But not really. You know.
Well, I just want to make sure you good.
Right.
Because that could come up. You know, when you probate this will, grandmama ain't been in her right mind since 2009. Right. Grandmama didn't even know a black man had been elected president. Right. Grandmama didn't know what was going on. Right. I mean, those things come up and that attacks the credibility of this document.
Right.
You know,
I had a guy that, you know, I did a power of attorney for. And, you know, I brought the guy in and I was talking to the guy. And he was, he knew where he was at. I asked him why he was there. He said, man, you know, my mental stuff is starting to fall off and I need my sister to take care of my affairs. I said, okay. I said, well, who the president? Man, I don't know who the president is. I said, no, he said Joe Biden was the president. But I asked him something else, and he was a little fuzzy on it. But he knew why he was there. He knew where he was at. Shucks. There was a time I didn't know who the president was. So, I mean, he knew who the president was. I mean, shucks, you got to know something. I mean, you got to be somewhere in the neighborhood. I mean, if he'd have said Richard Nixon the president, I would have been like, all right, well, it's been cool.
Right.
It's been real.
93.
Yeah. So, appreciate it. Right. But, I mean, he knew, he stumbled on a couple things. But he knew why he was there. He knew he was having some issues. He knew what time it was, and he knew what he wanted. Right. And so I was able to. I did a will. I did the power attorney for him. I didn't do the will. I did a power attorney for him, because next month, and he hadn't been diagnosed with anything, but next month I can see that this guy would be one of those people that, as time goes on, things were going to start digressing for him, and there was no reason for me not to help him. Right. I mean, it was
right. You caught him like right in the nick of time.
Nick of time. Right. I mean, again, you know, I brought him in by himself, and you know, I can see that he wasn't comfortable being in there by himself. But you know, I'm always gonna figure out how to loosen you up anyway. Right. So I mean, but after we joked a little bit, talked a little bit, he was. You know, even we had a lot of conversation, and a lot of times people think I'm just trying to mess with you or something, I guess. But I'm learning. I'm trying to figure out why you here, should you be here, and even can I help you? Right. And so all of those things unfolded themselves, and we were able to get that power of attorney done for him.
I think it's also interesting too, you think about it from a statutory perspective, because most of this is codified. Correct. So under the Tennessee Code annotated. And you think about, like, for instance, holographic wills, like a will you can write out yourself. I want my grandbaby to have this Marcel, and you name the grandbaby, and I want so-and-so to have this. Now, we had a situation like that that's actually very close to home for me. And one of the family members came and took it. And another family member knew of his existence, but But you think about with the holographic will, do you really have to be 100% in your right mind to write this? As long as your signature's on this, you write out, you delineate what you want, and you put your signature on it. If somebody turns that in, that's considered a valid holographic will. It prove their signature.
Yeah, and that's...
And their handwriting.
Well, and I think the reason why it goes out, I'm glad you said that, because I think the reason why that holographic... Look, I can't write.
Writing is bad.
So,
but that's a sign of intelligence, though. Terrible. The worst of handwriting. Like.
Well, I'm a genius because I can't write worth a poop.
You and my coach, handwriting just chicken scratch.
But the thing is if you are able to articulate your wishes in writing, then even if you are dealing with some dementia or some other issues, nobody can tell that in the writing.
Right.
Because you were able to articulate what it is that you want.
Exactly.
And then you were able to sign it.
Exactly.
Even if somebody was to coach you and it was handwritten.
Exactly.
It's handwritten. I can look at that handwriting, and all you have to do is have two independent, one person, if that person's not going to take from the will.
Right.
But if that person's going to take from the will, you have to have that one person plus another person to verify that handwriting is that person.
Right.
And if somebody says that's that person's handwriting, and that's their signature, I don't care if they lost their head. That's a valid will. But the reason behind that is there was a time that wills were so expensive, nobody could afford it.
Right.
And then there was a time access was different.
Exactly.
I mean,
especially for our people.
You lucky. You grew up and you know a whole lot of lawyers. I grew up, I ain't know none.
You know zero.
I ain't never knew no lawyer, never met a lawyer. Didn't even know who was a lawyer. And so
Perry Mason.
That's all I did.
Right.
And obviously, if I was going to practice law like Perry Mason, you can't even practice law like that now. So, so those were the dynamics that led to these holographic wills and some of these other things going on.
Right.
To keep lawyers, to help people that didn't have access to lawyers.
Right.
So, I mean, that holographic will, and I tell people that all the time, look, I'll do your will. But in a holographic will, all you got to do is say, this is my last will and testament. I'm above the age of 18. I'm of sound mind. And I don't think you have to have this, but this document revokes all previous documents. And then you write out whatever you want to write.
Right.
And then sign it.
Right.
Now, here's where people always screw that holographic will up.
They mess it up.
They type it, then try to sign it.
No.
They write it, sign it, and then have it notarized. Again, it's for the everyday, my words, schmuck.
Joe Schmuck.
It's the everyday Joe Schmuck. Again, I don't have access to a lawyer. I don't have access to a notary. I can't afford a lawyer. I can't afford a notary. All I got to do is, Misty, you know my handwriting? Is this Darrell O'Neill's handwriting? Yeah. And you say, well, yeah, that's Darrell O'Neill's handwriting. Okay, is this Darrell O'Neill's signature? Oh, yeah, that's Darrell O'Neill's signature. We'll accept that will in the evidence. They'll probate that will. That's an acceptable will.
Right.
Now, they don't have anything like that for power of attorney.
No. I think that the policy behind it, man, you taking me back to deceit and sustain. Hey, Professor Brazier, if you watching, you the man. First of all, who would have thought I'd have been practicing property law? But the policy behind the power of attorney, because it's a living document, and kind of like when you think about constitutional law, you think about those who view it as a textual document, or those who view it as a living document that grows with society. So the power of attorney, maybe in life you have better lucidity. Maybe you decide, well, I think I can handle these affairs myself, or maybe I want somebody else to handle these affairs. It's to kind of contribute to that liquidity of how the one thing that in life that's guaranteed to you is change. There's actually two things: change and death. Again, come on, well done.
Taxes and death, but
change taxes. If you're an American, change, taxes, and death is guaranteed to you. So, you know, you gotta be able to go with the ebbs and flows of life. And sometimes, you know, this kid, you know, say you got 3 kids. You know, I think my oldest kid is going to do the right thing. They're going to be responsible. They're going to take it. Maybe the oldest kid has something traumatic happen to them, and they just not lose it, or maybe they just not trustworthy. They just not right. They end up becoming, you know, a moral degenerate. And you gotta just kind of cut them out of your life. You know, you got to switch it over to this kid, or you know, or maybe you know you are you're having what the media calls a gray divorce. Right, these is the 30, 40, 50, 60-year marriages, and you know what, this is what retirement gonna look like, and I don't like you. I'm done. So then you done put this person as your power of attorney. Oh, that's bad. Yeah. I gotta turn it. I gotta get somebody else. You know, and it's just kind of reflecting that liquidity of life, of how everything ebbs and flows and it changes. You know, things can change from.
But I mean, it would seem to me, and I understand that a power of attorney just gives somebody a bunch of rights.
Right.
And that's what you really have to say, because this is a contract that's saying I'm giving X, Y, and Z. It just seems to me that there should be, it's like a holographic will. There should be a way that you can do that easier.
I think so too, but that would be a General Assembly question in our state. In the state of Tennessee, it would be a General Assembly question. But I think that there should be a way to do that. But I mean, I don't know. I think you've got some. I mean, you've got problems on both sides. You got access problems as well,
right?
Just like what you got with the will.
And that was my reason.
Because the power of attorney, it's got to cost money too. You got to get that notarized. You got to get all this stuff done. And so it's, you know, what about individuals who don't have access to an attorney?
Right,
or, you know, they charge more than we charge for power of attorneys, you know, or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So, but you got that problem, but then you got the other problem. You got a problem with, again, authenticity. You know, and you got a problem with, I mean, for me, I just see it as an authenticity issue, but I also see the other side, that access to justice issue. It's,
well, I mean, you know, one of the problems that people, you know, and again, there's one lawyer in this world, okay? There's one lawyer in this world I hate. And you know I don't be using that word often.
Shiesty?
No. There's one lawyer in this entire world that I hate. And I'm going to name that lawyer right now. It's called Google.
Google does not have anybody's law degree. Google is not licensed in any of these great 50 states or in the U.S. territories or nothing. But people be like, yeah, Google told me that.
That's the lawyer.
Which bar did Google sit for? Please answer that for me. What state is Google licensed in?
And because what ends up happening is, I mean, you can get a power attorney offline. You get this power attorney offline. You fill in a couple of things. You sign it. You get it. You take it somewhere, sign it, and get it notarized, and then that power attorney is effective. Well, here's the problem. That power attorney is going to have some stuff in it that's not necessary.
That's not applicable to your state.
Not applicable to your state.
Or it may not have enough for your state.
It may not have enough for your state. Or normally you can get rid of a power of attorney by just tearing it up.
Yep.
Those ones that you get online, they have that clause in there that it has to be revoked in writing. And so if you get a power of attorney that the only way you can revoke it is in writing, you can't even tear it up.
Yeah. Tearing it up means nothing.
Tearing up means nothing. Because remember, this is contract. And you signed this contract when you were competent. And you said, the only way I want this document to be relieved is if I do it in writing. And
when you signed your name, you intended to be bound. To that clause, as well as every other clause in the contract.
And that's one of the problems when you buy it online. Because 99% of the time, a power attorney you can just destroy it by drawing a line through it, balling it up, tearing it up,
editing it,
editing
all. Like, oh, I want to add. No, you can't write. It's like a whip. You cannot write anything else on this.
Right.
Like, if this is wrong, you got to come back, get that fixed.
Yeah.
Then you get it what's the word? Reissue. It's reissue, but it's a legal word for it. But you gotta get it reissued, right? I'm embarrassing Professor Brazier right now. I'm embarrassing him, man, because it's a word for it, but you gotta get it reissued, basically.
Okay.
But there's a specific word for it legally. But yeah, those. I thought about doing legal Zoom and all that stuff, but it's like,
well, and even that, I mean,
why? That's cool, but I'm licensed in these 2 states, but you might want me to do something over here and over here. Oh,
well, and legal Zoom is licensed in all 50 states.
And yeah, you got attorneys that's licensed in all 50 states, but then you got these templates. What's the templates? And and you pull this offline and it's just like, I'm a contracts person. I love contracts. I mean, contracts is as simple as buying a cup of coffee from Starbucks. I mean, it's as simple as buying some gas. Like, and you don't understand it like that, you don't understand contracts. And I tell my mentees that if you don't understand it, that's simple.
Hey.
You don't understand contracts. But I've piece together contracts from other contracts, and I read through one of these little online templates, and you be like, yikes. And I had somebody come to me with a real estate contract that the guy had pulled offline and had him sign, and I'm reading this, and I'm like, dude, you don't have an attestation clause. I mean, I don't know who you thought was going to file this. That's why the Register of Deeds told you, what is this?
Right.
I mean, it's like, you got to be careful with these Google documents. I mean, there's stuff that's missing, and it's not just, oh, that's something I can get around. No, this is stuff that's like codified. Right. This is stuff that you find in a statute, and it goes back to our conversation last week. This is why you need an attorney to help you through these things, because I mean, there's just some things, especially with this power of attorneys, and do you really want a person to have power over you, and you can't?
Right, exactly.
You can't just, oh, this person done lost their mind. This person done turned into Hannibal Lecter. I'm just going to go ahead and, no. Oh, no, this person's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's scary.
All right, well, we spent some time talking about some wills and power of attorney. Again, we'll try to take you a little deeper at some point. But, like Miss O'Neill said, very simple. Come see us. We do it cheap.
Call us. Call me, man. 345-8009. Call me.
All right. Thank you for watching the show. We'll see you back next week.
All right. Cut for TV. Now, you all are still on Facebook Live.
All right.
And they missed the first beginning, so you can introduce your daughter.
Okay. All right.
After show talk.
Okay. All right, Facebook Live. I'm sorry y'all missed the beginning of the show. So I forgot to introduce, well, you missed the introduction. So Facebook Live, this is Misty O'Neill. Misty's a lawyer in my office, and thankfully she's my daughter. And so she started practicing with me for, about 3 years? It's almost
my third year.
In her third year. Now she's running the business.
Oh, no. I would just be so scared.
Well, so, again, this is a little after the show to have a conversation. So, Facebook, if you got any questions or concerns, and it don't have to be about wills or power of attorneys. I mean, you got any questions, we'll gladly answer or respond to those questions. Yeah. But, the thing that we try to do here is kick some knowledge.
Right.
And probably, when Misty's worked for me on and off.
Forever.
I mean, her and her brother worked for me through high school and through college. So, they probably could be lawyers. Oh, I'm sorry, you are a lawyer.
I am a lawyer.
But your brother could also be, because they know all the same stuff. But it was different when you were in high school and college than now that you're a lawyer, isn't it?
It's incredibly different. But I mean, the thing is thinking like a lawyer.
Right.
So that, Socratic method, that you learn how to ask people questions. Oh, I annoy all my friends with this. All of the 4 people that I have as friends and people in general, I annoy them because I'm gonna ask questions. And it's like spinning the conversation without even knowing you're spinning. But the one question leads to this question, this answer leads to this question, this answer leads to this question. But that's the only way you get that knowledge about what's going on. You gotta ask questions. You can't be afraid to ask.
Yeah, I mean, I find myself, it's funny you say that, I find myself a little differently than that. I find myself more in the counselor role than attorney. And of course, you probably know this better than anybody. I prefer to listen.
Right.
I used to joke, and you and your brother know this better than anybody. There's a reason why people have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Sometimes you just need to shut up. You just need to listen. I mean, and that's the reason why you have 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Right.
At least, and then some idiot will come up and say, "Well, you got 2 lips." I know.
It's like half, one.
I know, but there's always gonna be some nonsense on some nonsense.
Right.
But I mean, that's the whole point of this what we do.
Right.
I mean, people pay us to take whatever it is they hear or whatever it is that they have going on. They want us to synthesize it and make it to something that's my word, edible.
Tangible legally.
Tangible legally. I mean, and sometimes they'll get pissed off. I mean, there are people come in, I mean, man, they are so adamant that they have a case, and and they ain't got no case worth of poop, but they are so adamant that they have one that, you just can't tell them any otherwise.
Right.
So it's just, it's always amazing to me, and I'm glad that you are now. Because I mean, now you.
People are delusional.
Again,
really.
It's different. I mean, you've known this for a long time,
right?
But it's different when you're responsible for the information that you give out.
Right. It's kind of like the sword of Damocles myth. And that's what I kind of feel. I know it's like, woo, but no, like the sword hanging over your head by the horsehair, not a string, but like a horsehair, like it's.
Hold on, I just got a call. Hold on a second. Oh, well, man. I had somebody calling in. It was my mother. I don't know if she had a question.
Right.
Yeah, when mom called.
She's very intelligent.
Oh, my mother. Oh, my goodness.
Right.
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
But you got that heavy is the head that wears the crown type of thing. You've got so much, again, that burden, that responsibility. You're responsible for not only 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of rules. You're responsible for the information that you give out to other people, and that you can be held accountable for that information, whether you give out good, bad, or indifferent information.
Well, and and that's the and again,
that's still scary to me. I mean, you've been in the game 21 years. You might not be as scared.
No, it is still scary. It's scary to me also.
Yeah.
But but that's the thing that always annoys me when people call. The first thing they say is, all I want to do is ask a question. Well, if me answering your question had no value, you would ask your boy down the street. Anything that I say has value.
Exactly.
I mean, and again, if I just say no, if you ask me, can I legally sue X, Y, and Z for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I say no, that has value.
Or why?
That has value. And so you pay for that 7 years of education that we both have, and you pay for that value or that professionalism. We're experts. Professionalism, hell, we're experts.
Right. Right.
You pay for that expertise.
Right.
So, all right, Facebook, I gave you guys an opportunity. Y'all ain't do nothing. So, throw rocks at me later on. But anyway, thank you for watching. And we try to give you the show after the show, and we usually try to give you the show before the show.
Right.
But you ain't really want it. You ain't want it. You got to pay for this next consultation.
Call us 901-345-8009.
All right, y'all. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
For over 20 years, Opox has been keeping the Mid-South
warm in the winter and cool in the summer.
Opox is family owned and operated, so our family will take care of yours every step of the way. And right now, you can double up and save. Buy a new AC unit and get 50% off a new furnace to match it. Count on Opox for fast and professional heating and cooling services. Count on Opox.
Hello, everyone. I am Monet Phillips from the Monet Phillips Show, and I got some exciting news that y'all gonna love. It's gonna knock you off your feet. Well, guess what? SVP has expanded to global, y'all. We are on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, podcast, boy, you name it. We on it. And just in case you don't have Comcast 31, you'll be able to download the app, SVP TV app. And also, look, we get a little fancy with the remote control. You can talk on the remote control with voice command and just say SVP TV. Now, guess what? We are on every Friday night. Well, I am, and also Tawana Murphy also. We are on every Friday night. And you also can see me at 8 p.m. on Friday night on those channels. So let me tell you again. We have expanded SVP TV on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, podcast. How about that? So look, I hope y'all tune into our shows every Friday night, the Monet Phillips Show, 8 p.m., and I will see y'all then.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk About It. I am none other than Glenn Allen, and sitting with me are two beautiful ladies, one in red and one in black and white. So we're going to go. So to my right, we have none other than
One in pink.
to Forest City for having us.
Yes. His hometown.
And if you hear in the background, we are here in front of a live audience. So let's give our live audience a hand. So we're here in Forest City, and we're excited to be here. You ladies look beautiful.
Okay, you look pretty dapper.
Thank you.
You on fleek, man. I like that.
I clean up well. I took a good bath.
I saw
Chanel, girl.
I saw.
I mean, it's a little 1-2.
All kind of stuff going on over here.
Your face is beautiful.
Thank you.
Who did your face?
Ty.
Shout out to Ty in Forest City, Arkansas. And you know what? I see she didn't just draw the line across y'all brows like a lot of them women do out in the streets.
You know what? You are so shady.
I mean, no. I wonder how the women feel that got that orange makeup on.
What orange makeup?
You know something. Now listen, I done been a lot of places and I done seen a lot of things.
And actually on TV.
Orange?
No, I've seen them locally.
No, yes, but on TV, I've worked with some of the anchors and some of the reporters that have had.
Yeah, it's like their
Seriously.
faces are orange.
Because they do their
so
own
it's like
makeup,
they
so
look
they know
like
how to
Sheila at the
distinguish.
face and look like Larry by the neck.
Oh, they don't bring it.
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't blend
seen
it.
that.
They don't blend it. And then too, when you are in a relationship, it's all about what your spouse want to see.
It is. But also you must be comfortable with it, am I right?
Well, I kind of wait a minute. I kind of disagree with that.
well,
because if you're not comfortable, you better put it on and make yourself comfortable.
Why?
Because if you want Sheila down the street, will.
Well,
and she got a full drawer of makeup.
Okay, but think about it. Think about what you said. Debbie just said you want to keep your mind.
Right.
And you said that you want to make the other happy.
Right.
Well, my thing is 50-50. So what if he's doing something or your significant other's doing something and she's not happy?
A good relationship.
A good relationship.
Now, we ain't talking about no church relationship.
You always let him
listen,
beg you.
no, that's the
Beg
truth.
you, let
A good relationship is built on communication. Coco, not too long ago, you shared something on Facebook, and it was really, really touching, and I reached out to you, and I said, I want you to share that, because you're talking about being your best self. So share with the people the testimony that you shared on Facebook.
First of all, let me just say that over a course of time, you can't really be your best self until you know your true self. And so that comes with a lot of obstacles and different things like that. So the testimony that I shared on Facebook was basically about my marriage. In the end, I was on my way that past Friday getting ready to make my final payment for my divorce. And I had to go to Texas for an event. And my husband was there, and he met me. He had been trying to rekindle the marriage, and I was just like, I'm done. I'm finished, you know. But the Holy Spirit quickened me. He picked me up from the airport, and I told God, I said, if you want this to work, you have got to bring something back to my heart. And so when I saw my husband, it was just rekindled